investigations attempting variously to repeat, confirm, or reject our ideas and findings. At the end of this 2020 edition is an afterword that gives a brief summary of some of the scientific debates and claims that human sperm competition and sperm wars inspired. In between this preface and that afterword, though, the text of Sperm Wars is presented just as it was in the original edition. Despite all the excitement, argument, anger, and experiment that has filled the past quarter of a century, there has been no need to change even a single word. All the science has so far stood the test of time. All research and conclusions others have drawn in the intervening years have either proved our hypotheses to be correct or not yet shown them to be incorrect. The vision given in this book is now widely recognized as the leading paradigm in the science of human sexual behavior. Sperm Wars is as relevant to the modern generation as it was to the last. Robin Baker, Spain, 2020. Preface. Sex and reproduction occupy a major part of people's time. Not so much the doing, more the thinking and talking. Despite all of this attention, most people find their own sexual activities, responses, and emotions the most baffling of all aspects of their lives. Consider the following. Why, in the midst of a perfectly happy and satisfying relationship, do we sometimes get an incredibly strong urge to be unfaithful? Why do men inseminate enough sperm at each intercourse to fertilize the entire population of the United States twice over? And why, then, do half of them dribble back down the woman's leg? Why should we feel like sex so often when most of the time we don't want children? Why, when we least want children, do our bodies apparently let us down and produce them? Why, when we do want children, do our bodies apparently let us down and not produce them? Why is it so difficult to know the best time to have sex in order to conceive, or not to conceive? Why is the penis the shape it is, and why do we thrust during intercourse? Why do we get such strong urges to masturbate, and why do some of us have orgasms while asleep at night? Why is the female orgasm so unpredictable and so difficult to induce? Why are some people more interested in sex with members of their own sex? These are just some of the questions to which most people, if they are honest, have no sensible, or at least consistent, answer. Nonetheless, riding on the wave of a revolution in sexual understanding which began in the 1970s, but which did not really gather momentum until the 1990s, these are questions which this book sets out to answer. So far, this revolution in the interpretation of sexual behavior has been the sole prerogative of academics, evolutionary biologists, to be precise. In this book, my aim is to bring the new interpretation for the first time within the reach of a much wider audience. The potential exists to revolutionize the way we all think about sex. My ambition is to help the revolution on its way. The main message from this revolution is that our sexual behavior has been programmed and shaped by evolutionary forces which acted on our ancestors and which still act on us even today. The main thrust of these forces was directed at our bodies, not our consciousness. Our bodies simply use our brains to manipulate us into behaving in a way dictated by our programming. The central force that directed this programming was the risk of sperm warfare. Whenever a woman's body contains sperm from two, or more, different men at the same time, the sperm from those men compete for the prize of fertilizing her egg. The way in which these sperm compete is akin to warfare. Very few, less than 1%, of the sperm in human ejaculate are the elite, fertile egg-getters. The remainder are infertile kamikaze sperm whose function has nothing to do with fertilization as such, but everything to do with preventing sperm from another man fertilizing the egg. Sperm warfare is a story in itself, but it also has wide-ranging consequences at all levels of human sexual behavior. In part, consciously, but much more importantly, subconsciously. All of our sexual attitudes, emotions, responses, and behavior revolve around sperm warfare. And all human sexual behavior